Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis, here with my lovely co-host, Phil. How you doing today, Phil?
Good. How we doing?
Do I look like a snick? I think that was the one that Amanda uses. I look like a snick. I don't look like a snick. Is it her snack and it just is with her accent it sounds like a snick? No?
Maybe. I don't know.
Anybody out there know what a snick is? I know it's a little bit of slang, a little Aussie slang, but I've never heard of it before, and I want to be a snick. And if it's your first time here on Reality Realness, well then welcome. Please do us a favor and subscribe. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers. Can't do it without you. So please join us in the comments because we love chatting with people about our favorite thing, which is reality TV. So today we're talking about The Amazing Race, Australia, season, I don't remember, 21, 20? Season 20? What season is this? I've literally forgotten.
Season is 5.
Oh, 5! 5! But episode 13 and 14 is what we're going to be talking about. But first, a little throwback to brother there. But first, we are going to look at the survey from last week.
Definitely. So we had quite a number of fun questions for everybody. Let's see what they said. So we asked, what is the best strategy when multiple teams are shouting instructions to one another from a distance? And they said the best one was work out some sort of code before going on the race.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That one came up a couple times.
I'm sure like if I race, I'd be learning how to memorize things in mnemonics. I'd be like, do you like how they do like the memory palace? I'd be like, okay, we have to do memory palace things together. Like we would be, if it was me and you, we would be studying. We'd be knowing like code. Oh, yeah. Like, okay, if I say 2, that means I'm talking about like a church. Like, I don't know. Like it's going to be our code lingo down.
But nobody will know what we're talking about, but we will. So.
Exactly.
No, we did not have anybody that was listening that could speak Swahili, but we did have a couple that said that they could speak German.
And you said neither.
I do not speak either. No, and you sang your song.
Both my songs.
We had did MJ and Chelsea make the right call on how to divide up the Salvage and Sabotage pass? Most people said yes. So there we go.
Did they do that too again? It's so long ago, I don't
remember. They gave it to. It was the Cowboys and the Chris and Aleisha, and they gave it Sabotage to Chris and Aleisha. Yeah. Which of the remaining teams would you most want to work with in an intersection? We've got some Ashley and Amanda fans still out there, so they picked them. How much did the Salvage pass help this round? People thought that it did. We didn't really see much of it, though.
I mean,
so
what was it? Like, I don't remember.
And then how much did the Sabotage hurt? And again, it was quite high, but they didn't get eliminated. So, I guess. And then which like 11, 12 task do you think was the hardest? The buoy setup in the water, the intersection one, was the one that got the most votes. Nobody was sad to see Jordan and Violeta go. And the team that they would be most sad to see win.
Oh.
Right now.
Sad?
MJ and sad. Like disappointed to see win this season. MJ and Chelsea had the most votes.
They're with us. People
That's right.
Are on our side. They agree with us because, like, today. But like, at that point, I'm just definitely was like, nah, they can go. I'm not really.
They can go.
Having these new teams enter into this race. So, well, that was good. That was fun. So this is episode 13, and I really thought that I missed an episode because I definitely don't like how they really just show everything in that 60 seconds like prelude to an episode. It's like I was like, wait, is this the recap? Like, did I miss an episode? And I got confused. I went back and I looked. I'm like, no, it's episode 13. But I literally went to check to see if I was on the right episode because they showed so much in the episode trailer.
Yeah, and it was weird because it wasn't like the end of an episode trailer that they do. It's this now they and I didn't notice this at the beginning. Maybe they were doing this, but at the beginning of every episode, they seem to do like a recap of what we're going to watch.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's an Australian thing or like do they need to know what they're going to watch so nobody gets frightened beforehand, or what is the reasoning behind us needing to know what's coming up?
But isn't
that we're about to watch
of the show to keep us engaged is by us not knowing what's coming up, so we are on the edge of our seats. It's like, so basically it's like, oh, you know that this team is going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
Who cares? I want to know. I don't want to know that any team's going to be in trouble and be shocked when a team's in trouble.
Like, we didn't need to know an alliance of 4, and then they showed all 4 teams, and then they are going against Chris and Aleisha. Like, we didn't even need to, like...
I was so confused. Like, okay, so you caught that as well, because I just was like, I don't really understand the point of this, but it's like, aren't you just going to play the episode? Like,
yeah. It's our job to recap it.
Right? Exactly. Stealing our job before we even see the episode. Sneaky. So sneaky. I just think it's very confusing. Like, maybe they don't think that people will watch if they don't know that something exciting is going to happen.
Maybe.
Is that what I
maybe.
Just really don't.
Maybe the ratings were down and they thought, oh, we got to find a way to hook them.
Those clips are not even that good. I don't know. I was really like, I was like, maybe I don't want to watch this episode.
That's right.
Oh, Dad. Okay, so they're going to be going to Townsville, Australia for some unfinished business. So I didn't remember specifically that that's where they went probably like 10 legs ago, but like they did go there before. So everybody's on the same flight. They're all leaving in the same order that they got to the pit stop. So I don't know if it's staggered like 5 minutes apart, 2 minutes apart or what, but they are leaving as they came. And they're going to be first to a sign-up board. So what do they have to do? They have to drive, they get a camper. They're driving this big caravan, which is like, that would be, I think, actually scary, driving these huge vans or like truck. Yeah. Like, they're big. I've had to do it once. I was a team lead for this promotion company, and so like I always had to like drive around those huge U-Haul trucks with like product in the back, and like first off, it's like they're so rickety back there, and I'm like, oh my god, and all the time. And so I don't know if you've been to Montreal, but like all the side streets are like really narrow. Like, so and this is the only place to park by my house was on one of these narrow streets. And so like, oh my God, it was so scary. I never hit anything.
That's scary. Yeah. No, those are like one of those ones where you're driving, you're like, I hope nobody goes near me while I'm driving because it will freak me out. Like, yeah, like, you know, yeah, it's scary.
Stay away from That's how I felt, but nobody seemed to be kind of nervous about driving the camper. I was pretty impressed that nobody made a confessional or anything. I would have. It
really reminded me, because we don't see campers too often on the race. It reminded me of the family edition of the American series when they were in their trailers driving all around. It was like, oh yeah,
I remember that season. Like I know I must have watched it. Because I just don't remember all the characters. I don't even remember Stassi, you know?
No, yeah.
Oh, I mean, maybe if I went back and started watching, I'd be like, oh, yeah, I do remember.
Yeah, not a lot of people like to go back and watch that one. It was close. They said that almost killed The Amazing Race, that season.
What did you think about it? You are a historian.
I didn't mind it. I thought it was all right. I thought it was interesting. I mean, they couldn't do it all the time. but it was all right. I wish they got to go to a little bit further out of the States, but they did go to a couple countries.
Just a couple.
Yeah. They came to Canada. That was cool.
Where'd they go in Canada?
They went to Montreal, Toronto, and Niagara.
Oh, maybe I do kind of remember that. I need to go. Yeah. Maybe I need to do like a little refresher. Little so they had to go and park their camper and sign up at a board. And Chris and Aleisha, they realize that they're last in line here. And they just get out of the car and they park it for a second, get out, run to the sign up board, and then go and park their car. Is this within the room? Okay, you think this is within the rules. You think that this is smart.
Definitely, yes. It's smart. Yeah, I mean, if you're waiting for people to park their things, you're there. The sign says you can park. Park.
I agree. Hey. Would you tell Wade and Stan that?
Well, I don't think it hurts any time to tell Wade and Stan hey, come on, let's help Wade and Stan, because you know they're going to fall behind anyway.
It's true. Not good. Not good. So we are at the roadblock now, and the card says, "Who hasn't faced off?" So a few legs ago, probably like leg 3 or 4, they had to face forward, walk down the front of a rock, and put their name on either brains or bronze. And we were wondering back then, like, oh, did they not resolve that? Like, what's happening there? Like, we didn't understand, like, why they didn't complete that. And we're like, maybe we missed it, or maybe they just cut it out. Well, now we know that they did not. It's because they were coming back to have some redemption here. They're going to have some unfinished business. So the other person that didn't do the walking down the rock face is going to complete this roadblock. So you're going to have to do it, or did you do it the first time? I can't remember now.
I think this was one of the ones where we said, "Oh, we'll both do it. We'll both be fine." But
okay.
But I would be fine with that. I think the initial going face first is a little weird feeling, but I think once you've done it, you're fine, and then you just have to. It's just like rappelling, so I think you'd be all right.
Yeah, rappelling is pretty like chill. I didn't really find it scary. No, well, a few people, because on the challenge, you don't watch the challenge, but we were talking about skydiving. Have you skydived before?
I have not skydived before.
Would you?
Yeah. Although I do know somebody who got injured, so they messed up their back. Like they landed funny, and so.
It's the landing that scares me the most, actually.
That's the thing. Me too. It always there's always somebody with a story where it didn't go well with the landing, but the actual jumping out of a plane, it feels like you're on a ride. So
exactly. So it's really funny though, because I didn't realize how much I'm not afraid of heights until I was talking to people that are afraid of heights, and they're like, "I would never do that." I'm like, "Really?" Like, I mean, I don't know if I ever will, but like, it's not something that scares me. Someone's like, "Hey, we're going skydiving tomorrow. I want to come." I'd be like, yeah, sure. Let's go. Let's give it a go. And so, but they're like, "Oh my," would be crippled with fear. And I was like, I don't think I would be. So it's just funny that like, I'm not crippled with fear doing anything that's hard like at all.
I agree. It's funny that I'm not. And look at all the fears I have.
Were you at like one thing you're not afraid of? That's one. So Ashley and Amanda, like, of course, do a lot of climbing, and so Ashley's very excited to do this task. I'm like, I'm really hearing like they do a lot of things. They're very, very well-rounded.
Oh yeah, and like very strong, very athletic, smart. They're a good team. They might be maybe the team. I don't know. It's tough. There hasn't really been a leg that they've done really bad.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Really,
like I don't think that they've really screwed up ever. Or like been like.
I think that it was that stew one, where they had to make the right, but they bounced back from that. Like
absolutely, they're just like they're always ready, right in there, competitive. Like they're very impressive. Like and they're the two women team. Like and usually that isn't a recipe for the win. Like it tends to be male teams or male female teams that get to the end and win. And so it's impressive.
Yeah.
Like I think they're the team to beat right now.
Wow. All right.
I do. So MJ and Chelsea, because they weren't here for this part of the race, so it's not unfinished business for them. They had to choose whether or not they do. Brawn, and of course they chose the Brawn.
Right. Of course.
I love that eye roll. Like I'm gonna go back and caption that, I think, later.
We'll talk about them and they're still in it. There'll be more eye rolls, I'm sure. So
actually, coming up. Mm-hmm.
I felt it was I have a couple of feelings because something else happens in this that I get kind of like a little ticked off with, but they do make that choice, and at least one of the teams has to do the other one. So there was a race between them and the bodybuilders to get there to make that choice. So I think that's fair. Yeah. Good for them.
It's just kind of like I kind of wish that they both had to do it or something to like even it out. Like the fact that they had to put something in, it's a glaring like view of the fact that something wasn't well thought out, and it's quite unfair.
Yeah, like, definitely.
So annoying. So I thought it was really hilarious. Dolor and Holly are talking about like we would never follow Stan and Wayne. Like they are no, never. And they're like, okay, let's go this way. And they're like, stop following Stan and Wayne. And Stan and Wayne decide to take a nice scenic tour up in the bush, basically.
Right.
Like
like these episodes, Holly and Dolor look like they're direction like machines. Like they know where they're going and they're making the right decisions. It's like, where did this happen? They figured it out.
It's so a complete different version of these two people from the first couple episodes. Like,
oh yeah,
I think that probably.
Right.
I think it's just probably that like they are getting more comfortable being in the race, and maybe in the beginning, like, you know, they were nervous about how they would do and having a little bit of the ego, and they don't want to go first, and you know, like that kind of thing. And so I definitely think that they just are getting their stride, and now that they've been in it, they've been in there for what, like probably a month or two right now, so they are not worried about going home first. And I think that their egos were kind of preventing them from being kind, good-hearted racers in the beginning because of this fact. So that's why I think that they've changed. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it was nice to hear them actually saying nice things. It kind of sucked to hear other teams not. But I mean, he has this charisma. There's something about him, like he like will smile and you'll go, oh, he's funny. Like he's a nice guy, really. Like,
I know he's cuter. Like I'm like, oh, you're cute, Dolor. You're cute. And I'm like, oh, you know, I'm such a cute couple now. Like before, I was like, oh,
I know.
Just takes it. But now I'm like, oh, they're cute. I like them together.
They were the mess. They were the mess couple. Like they were like, oh, let's hope they stay. They're hilarious to watch. And now it's like, I like them.
So I wonder if everybody else has the same like turn of events with them. Or maybe they did this on purpose. Maybe like, let's start off horrible so then like the people hate us, but then
right.
or if we're just like a little bit nice. So we're going to the Jezine barracks after, and it's going to be the first four teams are going to be able to get on the first helicopter, and they're going to be 20 minutes ahead of the second team. So what was I going to talk about? Oh, so they kind of showed that. Who finished that first, though? I guess it was Amanda and Ashley. They must have been going there first, right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So Aleisha, though, was the one that originally did this road detour, and so she thought that she had chosen Brawn, but she unintentionally chose Brawn, and so now when Chris was going down the rock face, he had to take Brawn for them to complete as the roadblock. Yeah, is it roadblock?
Yeah, detour. It's the detour.
But for the next part, it's still considered the detour? I guess so. Oh, yeah, because they're doing
because it was brains or brawn. Yeah.
Gotcha. So and with all this happening, Wayne and Stan, who also weren't there in the beginning, they just automatically have to do brain because there was no more brawn available, which I'm happy that they did. It seems as though they don't have like a minimum number of stations where people are forced to do the other side of the roadblock. And so I'm glad that they force people to do things that they might not necessarily be good at. So I'm happy that there was scarcity there.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I kind of wish that they even went further and made people have to lock in their decisions for this one. Because it felt more like this was a decision that was set. And I kind of don't like the fact that a team got to switch, even though they were one of my teams. I kind of felt like that was kind of like as a viewer, I kind of feel like they locked themselves into that. They should have attempted the whole thing, and yeah, because there was no punishment if they didn't finish. For the obstacle race, except for just time.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. So basically with the brain and brawn detour section, so the brain, what they had to do was gather some information, use some rulers and different calculations to figure out the altitude or the angle or something to hit a target with some sort of thing. Some sort of, what were they? Cannon. It was a fake cannon.
A fake cannon with a computer program it was a simulator. Yes, simulation of a cannon shot. Got it. That's right.
How did you think about that one? Because I thought it actually was pretty hard. I was like, okay, that could be.
Yeah, it could be quite hard. It's not just basic math. It doesn't seem like. It seems like a little bit of there you have to think about. But I thought it was a good challenge. It was hard, and it tested people that said that they were brains. I think that's good.
Brawn side of things they had to do. It's pretty standard brawn type challenges where they are going to be doing some like an obstacle course that the army does. So they're wearing the fatigues and they're going and they have to like climb over this and crawl under that and wear the camouflage on their face and whatnot. And so that's definitely more brawn. I would probably choose the brain side of things.
I would have hoped that we would have, or else there would have been a lot of swearing.
Like that. I've been trying to be a person that loves getting exhausted like that. One time somebody go for a long run and okay, I have to give credit that after the 30-minute mark, I was able to run forever. You know what I mean? It was just kind of getting there. It was like, I hate my life. It's horrible. So I get that there's this runner's high or once you break a certain point where you can, you cross the threshold. But I really don't like the feeling of getting there. And so I feel like that's of course I would be definitely screaming a lot. A lot.
And I am not a fan of I've done mud runs. I have done that. And I am not a fan of getting encouragement when I'm failing during things. So when I'm done or I'm tired, I just need my moment and I don't need people. So having people barking orders at gym class in high school and let's go is that makes me want to do it less.
That totally reminds me. So when I was in Vancouver, some people thought it was a great idea to go take me to climb a mountain. I was like, what? I don't want to do this at all. And so you've been to BC?
No.
Okay, so they have a lot of mountains that are very typical that people climb on a daily basis. So one is the Grouse Grind, which is very popular. It's pretty much straight up in front of a mountain, the Grouse Mountain, and then you take a gondola back down to the bottom. I had a guy friend of mine that bought a season's pass to do the Grouse Grind, where he ran up and down the mountain every day as his exercise. Besides the point. So I was told that hey, let's go climb the Chief. It'll be fun. Like, fun. I don't know. We have different ideas. But it's basically like just rocks, like rock stairs up a mountain. And I remember at one point, it's like you get to a certain level and there's a sign that says 1/4 of the way done.
Yeah.
Like, and so the people that I'm with are like, come on, Chantele, you can do it. And I was like, don't talk to me. Silence. I did it though.
Yeah. Well, good.
And I was sore for like a month. We would definitely be choosing Brawn, 100%. So you were kind of alluding to your irritation with one team that wasn't locking in their choice. Like, so why was it that they had to choose whether they're doing Brawn or Brawn? Why wasn't it something that they had to stick to? Why do you think that is? Because
I don't know. I think it was a mistake. It was a mistake by the show. This wasn't a typical detour. This was a choice that they made actually not once but twice going down the mountain. I don't know. It just felt like, I don't know. I didn't like it. I thought that this felt like a bigger detour than the other detours where it would be like the this or that one. And then they just are able to change. And I don't think that they can change once they decide this or that.
Well, it's kind of like, what was the point of putting your name on something if you can just change it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I get it. Like, as you said, that there's a little bit of a time discrepancy because of the fact that, they had to switch. And what we learn is the other detour was on the other side of the barracks. So it was a distance to get there. So there was a bit of a time penalty there. But if they're going to have to choose something like a month ago, like they should have to complete that task. And like that's that particular how it works.
Were Stan and Wayne aware that they could obviously it's up to them to ask, but was that well known that, oh yeah, and you're able to switch your thing? Because I'm sure if Stan and Wayne had the option right off the bat, they would have switched right away and went over to the physical one.
They would have gone there, maybe they had to go and show up and then be like, we're switching. But I don't know if Stan and Wayne would actually do it at the spot because they're just quite funky.
They are slow. I've noticed that.
They might have
They could do the muscles, but they seem to get tired quite fast. So
they definitely get tired quickly. So Chris and Aleisha, they get to the Brawn detour now, and they're actually not even doing that well at this one. So they're missing the mark, literally. They can't figure it out, and whiny Aleisha is not my favorite right now. She just was whimpering about the mistakes she made and whimpering about I'm off them. They've given me the ick.
I understand why. Yep.
Ick. They're your number one pick though. So how do you feel that I've got the ick?
Well, I'm okay that you have the ick. I agree with your ick right now. I think that they are, and I felt bad for him because she got mad at him during this task, and I was like, he's been doing quite well through all of this, and taking a lot of the heat, and now given a little bit more that I don't necessarily thought that he deserved, but they're my number one pick more because I thought I got a vibe that they were going to do well. I don't know if I want them to be of my teams the winner.
Do okay,
yeah.
They're fighting to be there for sure.
They're fighters. They are fighters. I think what rubbed me wrong was when they were back in the camper vans. She was kind of showboating that they were so smart in a way. She was so happy about how they got to the sign up board, but then when things aren't going her way, she seems to she gets very physically emotional to herself. That it's
uncomfortable.
Yeah,
it's uncomfortable to see somebody that gets that down on themselves. It's It's not fun to watch, in my opinion. So the next detour is the Lady and the Tramp Detour, or Eat Like a Champ. So which one do you think you'd end up doing? Because Eat Like a Champ is a bit of a misdirect.
So what was Eat Like a Champ again? Because I forgot what it was.
What is like
nobody did it.
Like a slug inside of a shell.
Oh, right, the mangrove worm. Yeah. I would have been fine with either. I honestly would have liked either of them. I think the one would have been the distance was. I think that was the real trick in there, was the distance, because they really made the one seem like it was so much further away. So it may have made sense to go do the worms. You might have got some people ahead, but I don't know. There's been a lot of food tasks.
I don't know if I could do the worm fill.
All right. Well, then you're kissing me with pasta.
That's fine. We call it a Saturday night. Good night, Chantele and Phil.
Take a number, Chantele.
Slash, I have to tell you that both your and Ron's refaces, like, I can't take it. It's so funny.
I love that app.
Are you paying for it?
No, I just do the free ones, and I love it. It's so good. We should do some Amazing Race ones.
How would you do Amazing Race one?
Oh, they'll have Amazing Race gifts, and we'll make them work. I'll find one. I'll send you some. I'll make some, and I'll make you laugh.
Yes. I want to get it too, but I want to get, like, they used to have a 3-day trial where you wouldn't have to pay like the full amount. Because I want to see all. Like, I don't know. I've only looked at it once.
I'm not paying for mine.
Really? I feel like you have options. I feel like when I looked at it before, like there was no options. Maybe it was too long ago.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe they got better at it now. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Like, that's like going to be my new pastime.
All right.
Pasta time. Okay, so over the brains. So Holly and Dolor chose brains as well. And they were on the second grouping of people. This is 20 minutes later. And the Brawn was chosen by MJ and Chelsea, and Skye-Blue and Jake. And of course, sorry, with the brains in the second group is Stan and Wayne as well. So Aleisha, though, at the brain section, realized that they actually were working with the wrong grid. So they were able to switch things up. They figured out what they were doing wrong. I think that was on their second or third attempt, where they realized that they were using wrong materials. So I was like, okay, at least they figured out what they were doing wrong. But I love that they were getting it wrong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it was, yeah, I was okay with them getting it wrong because they weren't getting along. So they were getting on my nerves.
And I don't know how long Stan and Wayne were there, but Stan and Wayne and Brent and Dolor and Holly, they did see Chris and Aleisha there at some point. And so, like, the heat was on Chris and Aleisha to be losing their lead here with, like, the back half of the teams showing up while they're still at the detour. I didn't see what happened with Dolor and Holly, though. Did they just get it really quickly? Like,
they didn't get it that quickly. I think it was part of we've already now seen how it plays out, so we didn't show everything. But it was interesting because, like, in the beginning, the sergeant was told Dolor off a little bit. He was like, you've got to pay attention. And we've sort of seen that before where Dolor sort of drifts off and isn't, like, he doesn't, like when they were at the beach and he was doing the flag thing and I know how to do it. But he did seem to know what he had to do, so they just figured it out quite quickly. The bodybuilders, I believe they were there quite long.
Well, they did keep on going back and getting how do you do this and more information. So that's if people could tell me, like, hey, you basically need to get the number of this and subtract it from the number of this and multiply it by this. Like, if someone's telling me that, it's not very difficult. So
yeah, no, it's just finding those numbers.
Yeah, it didn't seem hard after, but, like, maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. Or maybe they don't give them more information until they come back and ask. Maybe. One
thing I thought was funny was, why did Dolor keep bringing the chart out with him? Did you notice that? Like, he would grab the whole thing and bring it out each time, and I was like, why is he doing that?
Well, these are our numbers. These are our numbers. I definitely thought the task, though, looked in the beginning harder than it was in the end. It seemed like what was stuffing people up was using the wrong grid or using the wrong ruler. It didn't seem like the actual tasks of it was that challenging. And Dolor was saying that, like, he loves this as he plays these games and, like, super fun. So I was happy to excel.
Yeah.
Decently well, anyways. So they're basically, like, on their way to the pit stop. The Gold Coast girls, they did the Lady in the Tramp detour. They do a little smoochy smooch. So did the Cowboys. Smoochy smooch. I was laughing, though, because they're not very, they're very comfortable with each other, but they're definitely, I would say, heterosexual men. So
yes.
I was kind of cringing, but like laughing, like it was a little bit awkward, but they were with it. So I definitely thought that them doing the Lady in the Tramp moment was cute.
Definitely.
So there was a foot race between them and the Gold Coast girls to Mangala Station, and Amanda and Ashley, Gold Coast girls came out on top again, and they win at a Hilton Fiji resort vacation. I feel like they're they're really, really set up well to win.
They are. Yeah, they're doing quite well. I mean, the next episode, we're going to talk a little bit about it, but there's definitely some clear front runners, I would say, in this race.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, second, obviously, is the Cowboys here. So, Holly and Dolor, what did I write down here? I'm like, I guess they finished. They went to, they were going to Lady in the Tramp, and they noticed that Stan and Wayne are like, they just go past the detour, and they're driving lost. So Dolor and Tolly just go in and they do Lady in the Tramp. Now, I really would have loved it if Holly baby birded all the spaghetti into Dolor's mouth.
Oh my God. What was that thought? Because that was a lot. Like, what, she was just going to store it in her mouth? What was she going to do?
I think that's what she was doing, like, just like eating it all, and then she's going to like.
Wow. Oh my God, that would have been so gross.
That would have been so hilarious. Because Dolor is so squeamish, so. I did enjoy that. And I don't know what happened, though. Maybe you can help me out here. So how did MJ and Chelsea miss the detour and ended up following, I think it was Skye-Blue and Jake, to the mat? And then they had to go back.
So they didn't, they got lost. Like, as soon as they entered the right town, they got lost, and I guess they went all the way through the town. And then they saw Skye-Blue and Jake, who they assumed when they asked, have you found it? They said, oh no, but we think it's this way. That they had thought that they were in front of them originally. So then they just followed them. And it's like, oh, you're going all the way to the pit stop. We've seen that on the race a couple times. I remember those where people will think that they're following. That's why you can't follow. You gotta get that map.
You gotta do it. Like, I mean, maybe if you're like, oh, that's where everybody's going, because we're gonna learn in the next episode that maybe you want to follow some people sometimes. But in those type of situations, if you're running on foot somewhere, like, maybe ask where you're going. If you're not going to
maybe like say, did you do the pasta or something like that? And then they'll go, oh yeah, and then be like, where is it?
Yeah, what if they were doing? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and they didn't even want to be doing Eat Like a Champ. They wanted to be doing Lady in the Tramp. So they should be even a little bit more clear as to what kind of information that they were hoping for. So that was a really, really big bad move for MJ and Chelsea. High key. I was hoping that they were going to be eliminated for this, but no can do, which we're going to get to in just like 1 second. So Stan and Wayne do finally find the Lady in the Tramp detour. And this is where I was saying that, like, why didn't they force anybody to do the other side? Like, why, like, and like, maybe it would be like a sense of like, you'd have to wait for another team to go. But I just think that there should have been only like 5 stations maybe, and 3 of the people had to do the nasty eat like a champ.
Yeah.
Get there first.
I don't know. Got there first. Yeah, I don't know. I would like to see or like a U-turn or something happen there where like they have to go do the other thing. I don't know.
I don't know either. I thought it was really awkward though. Stan and Wayne were another two very, very hetero men that were in a very like strange homoerotic.
That's right. Yeah. One seemed a little really uncomfortable with it, and I was like, "Oh, uh-oh, no, let's not ask him his thoughts on this."
No, I mean, it was really uncomfortable. I mean, it was so funny. I was like, I couldn't really watch it. It was bad. And so basically the orders. I don't remember seeing the Super Seed come in at 3, but they must have come in 3rd, correct?
Yes.
Skye-Blue and Jake were 4th. Chris and Aleisha, they managed to figure it out. So they did eat their Lady and the Tramp, I guess. I don't remember seeing these people, but maybe I just didn't care, so I just didn't write it down.
Yeah, they did.
Holly and Dolor are 6th, and MJ and Chelsea are still able to stay in it here. They are 7th place, and Stan and Wayne are 8th place. And what the heck? A predetermined non-elimination leg? What?
Another one?
What? Why
Yeah.
can't we get rid of teams?
Come on, I don't know. And they were like, I mean, again, their narrative is they cannot do directions.
No.
At all.
No. And like, did they just want to save them? Because I'm just like, I don't get it. Like,
The next team to come in, it wasn't ready yet.
Wasn't what?
The next team that they're going to bring in probably wasn't ready yet.
There's still like 6 teams that are ready to come in. You have to know that.
Oh, shit. Oh, and they'll bring one of the teams back as well. Like,
no, they're all doing a side race right now, and they're all going to be coming back in. Like every single one of them has been eliminated.
Ridiculous.
Like, people are so annoyed that they're like all these new teams are getting to enjoy the race when. Like, I don't know. I'd like to see some of the teams that are already gone have experienced the race. Yeah. It's so weird, though. From like the first episode to now, it's a completely different race than I expected it to be. Like, very different. That's just like, what's happening here? Enjoyable, but it has some work to do, I would say.
It has some work, and it's a little fly by the seat of their pants kind of feeling. Like, it's like, okay, now we're going to go here. Okay.
And episode 14, it's going to be another one of those legs. So they're going to go to the Sunshine Coast, to the Glass House something. What did I write there? Glass House. I don't know what I wrote. Mound? Manor? I don't know. I have no idea what I wrote there. So it's going to be a helicopter rescue intersection. So I'm enjoying them, forcing them to working with other teams. So I do like the idea of the intersections. But we did just have one. So I was also like, who cares about the intersections? Like, there's not that many teams. It's still 8 teams. It's still 8 teams. And that was like 4 episodes ago. So funny.
Oh, maybe they should have made a rule that you can't work with the team that you worked with in the previous intersection or something. But
that would be interesting. It would be interesting if somebody didn't just work with the team that got there first. And like they're like, actually, I'm gonna wait for the team that's in last because I don't want to work with you. I'd cut some drama.
Right. That would be great. We need some drama.
Some drama for sure. So there's gonna be they're gonna be split. So they're gonna have to find a stranded team. So it's like a search team and a stranded team, and they're gonna have to locate, their other half together. Did they have to split up, or could like one team be the rescue and one team be the searchers? Do you think?
I think it said that they had to split up and go with the other team. So yeah.
So the teams that working together are Amanda and Ashley with the Cowboys, the Super Seeks with Skye-Blue and Jake. Dolor and Holly are working with Chris and Aleisha, and Chris and Aleisha was actually maybe hoping to wait for MJ and Chelsea, but Dolor and Holly were there. Now, Dolor and Holly seem to believe that they had some sort of alliance going with.
Yeah.
Have we
Since the beginning? Since the beginning.
Have we missed something?
What?
Have they, what? Like, actually, what?
Well, yeah, because this is new. We haven't really seen them much doing things together, so I don't know.
So I was surprised, but then maybe that makes sense though, because I believe it was Chris when she was doing the choir challenge. And remember, I said like, "Oh, Holly like gave him a of encouragement and like a high five," and so that would be the only other indication that they like the team or that they're working in some capacity. But I definitely would think that they would show this on the race.
Yeah, yeah. So it's okay. I like it. I like Holly and Dolor. I like the fact that they're wanting to work with other teams, and that's a nice narrative. Yeah, I was kind of surprised, and it really came from Aleisha, not really Chris again. Like it just seems like she wants to win.
Yep, and I think her want to win is going to make her not win. I don't think that they're going to win this race. I do not. So the final teams that are working together then are MJ and Chelsea and Stan and Wayne. So so Amanda mentions, she's like, oh, her and Ashley go hiking and hiking around these mountains and knows these mountains very well. I'm like, what? And he's like, oh yeah, I know this is blah 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 Black Bear Mountain. I recognize the mountain. Like, what? You go hiking here?
Like, is there anywhere they don't go in Australia?
Oh, they're like, they really are well-rounded enough that they do a lot of things in Australia. Like, I couldn't say that I've been in every province, but I haven't really done everything in each province in Canada. Like, I haven't been to like this Space Needle or whatever. Like, I don't know. Isn't there one of those in like Calgary?
They have a tower. Yes, they have a tower. Yeah, Space Needles in the States, I think. Seattle?
Sure. Seattle, Space Needles. Yes, you're correct.
Yeah.
Fine, call me out. So, okay, why, though, were Chris and Dolor running in the opposite direction of all the other teams? Now, I get being like, oh, we know better. We don't want to follow the herd of the herd. But, like,
I think they said their logic was it would be too simple to be that they would have driven past it, and they said that can't be the highest point where they got dropped off. But what were they basing that off of?
I don't know. And why would they think that it was so far away from the starting point? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyways, I was just worried. I was like, either they're correct or they're very, 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 very,
very, very lost. But the preview told us what that was going to be.
Right, that they're going to run in the wrong direction and be lost. So, you know, why we never get spoiled anymore. Like, even if there's like a cliffhanger, they'd probably like tell us what the outcome is in the preview for the next episode.
So do you think it was Chelsea? No, it was MJ and Wayne, was it, that were also there? Do you think that they just did not even see the other teams, and so they went back that way and decided to go in there because they went in a different spot? And
I don't know. It was confusing to me what their instructions were from like their starting point, because like MJ and Stan, or wait, I'm not sure who's who, but they were going up the like in the middle of the mountain. They're going to use the string that they had to make a trail. So back. I'm like
Hansel and Greteling up the hill.
Get some breadcrumbs and some cookies. No other teams seemed to pull out the yarn. Was that a tool that they were supposed to be using? Did everybody get some yarn? How did they have that?
I don't know. And like they had these toolboxes also at the station. And like there didn't seem to be any like there was only the phone and the stickers. I think.
I mean, I like this task. I thought it was a good. I like the whole cloak and dagger of it, and like only find your coordinates and your points and get on it's a phone, but a walkie-talkie, and it. Yeah, I thought it was a good task, but I wish I understood what directions they got in the beginning to be able to assess why people were going in different directions and going into up a hill. And I get going up the hill because they're trying to get up to a higher elevation, but I just don't understand why people were getting so confused as to where to go.
Yeah, agreed.
So strange. So eventually, though, Chris and Dolor realize that they're going in the wrong direction, and they decide. Well, I guess they decided to turn back. They didn't actually tell us that they would decide to turn back. They just showed them deliberating about maybe turning back. And Dolor was saying like he could hear the road, so they can't be going in the right direction if they can hear the road because they shouldn't be close to the road. So that was a good, I thought, assessment as to a good reason to turn back.
Yeah, and we did we see them do that, and then when we see when they get there, they're not really that far behind the other teams. So
right,
I don't know. That seemed kind of weird too because it made it seem like they were really far away, but maybe they weren't.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. I don't know what happened there. It's so strange.
Yeah.
Because like they cut out. Like I thought that would be a good explanation, like how they they changed. Like I want to see them. The other team, like maybe where they are on the map and like maybe do an aerial view or something so I can see like, oh, this team went that way, but this is where they are. Like show them a map and have people moving coordinates of like Holly and Dolor and Chris. And like, I don't know, I would just like to see where people were in like proximity to one another. That would have been interesting to me because it's just like people running in the woods. I can't tell who's doing better, who's going in the wrong direction for sure. Like, I don't know. I would have liked to see that.
Yeah, me too.
They should have done it. Grr. So they had some old phones, which you were talking about in their little toolbox. It seems as though people were having a little bit of trouble with these gadgets, which I find hilarious because these fancy cell phones have only been around for like 12 years.
Yeah, and it wasn't like green means go, like they think up still, like, or the picture of the phone. Like, I remember the phone, and I remember it still was a green phone, and like you press the button, and I mean, I was around when they were new. I know, right? It reminds me though. So my best friend in high school, she had a baby when she was a teen, and so when her daughter was about, I don't know, maybe 6, we were at a secondhand like knick-knack kind of store, and so she saw a rotary phone with like a, and she's like, "Mommy, what's that?" Now that's understandable.
She's 6, but like, you know, it has the coily strings and it has like the rotary. So it is a little bit strange to look at, but it looks kind of familiar, but you're just like, what is that? But I thought that's really funny that like in the early 2000s, 6-year-olds had no idea what these things were. What's that, Mommy? Rotary phone. Because even like at that point, it would just be like cordless phones and stuff like that. So like having the coily string and like the so unfamiliar. Yeah. I miss them though. They're so they look good. I think. Like, I
think they look cute.
Me too. So okay, basically they didn't really show us that much of the other teams, but Amanda and who's she with? One of the cowboys. They do it pretty quickly. They find the coordinates because like she knows the mountain faces and she's like, I know exactly where they like they are. Like they were just
lucked out on that partner.
Right? So those two teams ended up first. Like they were very, very quick. Who was second? I guess the Super Seeks and Skye-Blue were pretty quick.
Yeah.
Dolor and Chris ended up getting to the viewpoint. What is it called? The lookout. First, but they were managed to be able to use the cell phone more effectively than I think it was Chelsea and I don't know, the Stan, I think, Chelsea and Stan. And so they couldn't figure out how to use a cell phone. They're leaving each other messages and whatnot. So Dolor and Holly and Chris and Aleisha were able to overtake them and leave that Detour third, which I thought was pretty impressive. Yeah. So it is the two new teams that are like fighting for last place right now. It's like, yes, let's get one out. So the roadblock is, who is a ginger ninja? You.
That's obvious. We would pick that, I think, automatically. We would be like, all right, this is
You're doing this one, Phil. You are.
That's all right.
So they had to pick and clean a lot of ginger. I didn't really think about how ginger grows, but it's interesting. Like to see what actually happens with it.
I love ginger.
Me too. I'm a ginger person for sure. Yeah. But I definitely I don't know. I guess I never thought about how ginger gets harvested, you know? So I'm just
I mean,
eat some
root. Yeah, ginger root.
Ginger root.
I love a ginger beer too, and that was nice to see.
Or do you ever do Dark and Stormies?
Yes, and Moscow Mules.
Ooh. And okay, so another one, I used to bartend, so I love making bevies. So yeah, if you ever invite me over, for some drinks in the summer, I'll bring some sort of. I usually bring drinks to make drinks for in the afternoon or whatever. So I love making. Now I forget what it's called. Diablos, and that's with ginger beer and a little bit of cassis and lime juice and deliciousness, or maybe doing a paloma, which is tequila with Cointreau and some grapefruit juice. Yummy, yummy, yummy.
So. All right, come over.
Be over. Girl, and tequila for me and ginger beer is it's a pretty good combo.
Oh yeah.
Tequila.
That's awesome.
So yeah, definitely in. We'll do tequila cocktails with ginger for sure. So they're picking and cleaning and sorting ginger. And this is where we learn, the second time we learn about the originals, which is the alliance between the Super Sikhs, the Gold Coast Girls, Skye-Blue and Jake, and the Cowboys. We kind of heard about the Gold Coast Girls, Cowboys, and the Super Sikhs working together a month ago, but definitely didn't know though that Skye-Blue and Jake kind of got in there with their little alliance there.
Well, I guess maybe all that help that Skye-Blue and Jake have been giving other teams has paid off a little bit here. This is interesting. So we're seeing Amazing Race 32. We're seeing an alliance here happening in the race.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
Do you think that competitive reality shows, it's broken, and that now the only way to play and win this game is with the large alliance taking out everybody on the outside? Is that the only way to do it now, and the only way that it can be done? Because
I mean, it's tough. I mean, most of the time that's the way it happens now, right?
So I've played many of these games, and it always ends up being power numbers, right?
Yeah.
Any threesome alliance that started from the beginning, they usually make it to the end, you know? And that's how I play as well. And so I know it's probably not going to be most compelling TV, but it does seem as though this is how everybody is playing right now. So is there a way to break that up and change that?
I mean, it's really, in something like the race, it's really getting that message out there to those people going, yeah, it's great to work in an alliance, but you got to be able to beat those people. You need an alliance where you can beat the people, because you're just giving the win to the strongest team usually. So, this is what we're actually seeing more and more, especially something like on Survivor. We're seeing stronger people winning because people are willing to take them there just because they're a number. So, I don't know. It feels like something else has to happen to twist it up a bit that's out of their control, that they're not thinking about strategy-wise to mix it up.
I don't know. I just worried that the games are broken.
Yeah. Now, what I found interesting was that they were calling themselves the Originals, but they really made it clear that the first target of the Originals is to take out another original.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they must really be annoyed with this team if they're going after them instead of one of the two teams that got in at the last moment.
Yeah. I wish that they would show us more, because I need to see why they dislike them so much. I mean, obviously, like the sign up board, and she's very competitive. She's probably not that fun to be around, because like she's not helpful and kind, really, like, which is fine. Yeah. She can have her own strategy on how she wants to win, but she's not as likable as some of the other teams. So I want to see more of that, though. Please, thank you. I'd rather see that than a preview of the episode that I'm about to watch. So I thought it was really funny, though. So Holly and Dolor get to the roadblock, and it was for like who's the Ginger Ninja, and Dolor's like, okay, I'll do it. And then he's like, oh wait, what if it's something to do with like heights or something? And Holly's like, Dolor, you're gonna have to start doing some roadblocks. That's so hard. He gets out of doing all of them because Holly's just a badass.
Gosh, she's good.
So surprisingly, though, our top team here, Amanda and Ashley, get lost on the way to the ginger picking. So that was very surprising. And so now the Super Seeks were able to get out of that roadblock first, if I'm not mistaken. So they did a pretty good job. And they're going to be on their way to the Detour, which is Cuckoo or Candy. What would you have chosen? Or we?
I love cuckoo clocks. I have a cuckoo clock. I probably would love to have picked cuckoo clock. I found it funny that there seems to be like another German area or at least another like Bavaria area or something in Australia. It's like, oh, another place. So yeah, I mean, they both weren't overly too hard, but I think the cuckoo clock one was a bit easier because all you had to do was use your eyes. Mm-hmm. Whereas the Candy could have been a little bit messy.
And like you'd have to like figure out the skill of it. So you could easily just stumble onto the correct cuckoo clock, but you can also easily miss the cuckoo clock. So I guess they both do have their strengths and weaknesses. Their pros and cons, as we like to say it too. So, okay, who did what? So Amanda finally gets to the ginger picking one, and she's like, how does she do it so fast? Please tell me how Amanda did it so fast.
Like really?
That she goes back and helps Skye do it for 5 minutes or so, and then she like lets her be and continues on her way. Like, how did she said something about like, oh yeah, I used to pick ginger, or like me and my dad pick ginger every day, or like she did say something. I don't remember what it was that she said, but
while we were hiking and doing all of this stuff and going to the tops of mountains and yeah, right. But I don't know, but like that was shocking to see her help another team. Like that's not them usually.
No, I mean the originals. So maybe that they made a pact that we didn't see. Like, hey, like help each other. Let's stay in the front. Get to the final four, I guess. The Cowboys also leave pretty quickly. I didn't really write down the order that people left, but they find the cuckoo clock super fast, and then they go to their cars and they get a message from home. So both of them have wives with a son, and so they get some words of encouragement from their loved ones. So I thought this was nice. Did you care?
Yeah. No, I did. My heart grew.
Oh.
No, it was nice. It was nice to see. It makes their story a little bit more like you get to understand why they're racing, why people are doing it. So it was nice. And the Cowboys, they seem to have a nice life, so that's good.
So yes, the Super Seek and Amanda were all in the clock shop at the same time. And so they decide to kind of work together. And so I believe that Amanda probably found the
yeah.
the German flag on it. And so they kind of shared that information with the Super Sikhs. And so they all get their messages. The girls, their partners were together and messaged them. They're quite little handsome men. One has a mustache she didn't recognize. she commented on, oh, he has a mustache. And then Super Sikhs, are they cousins? Are they related? Or were their families just all together? I don't think it was separate. Or maybe I didn't look at it properly.
I thought they were friends. Maybe they are cousins. I thought they were friends.
But both of their families were all together for their one.
Yes.
Okay, so they just got them all together, or maybe they were like family friends, and so they've known each other their whole life, kind of thing. But I was surprised that all their family were together. But whatever. So Skye-Blue and Jake, they go into the clocks, and they notice the cuckoo clock. But of course, Aleisha and Chris show up while they are in the clock shop looking for the cuckoo clock. So they decided to evade Chris and Aleisha and like circle around and whisper to the shopkeeper the answer, and they do get the clue, and they leave. But Chris and Aleisha think that they must have switched detours. What did you think?
Because they didn't get an envelope, right? So
that's true.
It was in the cars.
That's true. I was wondering, why were they so sure that they didn't get the correct information? So that makes sense. They didn't get a clue. Your clue is in the car, is what it said. And it's also for the surprise of the video.
So now, we've already seen Amanda and Ashley have a problem with Chris and Aleisha. Now, Skye-Blue and Jake, who don't seem to have a problem with anybody, are not helping
at all.
What have Chris and Aleisha done?
Definitely have been rubbing the nicest people on the race, most helpful and kind people, the wrong way. So, maybe it could be, Amanda and Ashley were just complaining about them, maybe, and be like, oh my God, and they did this, and this. And so maybe they were just kind of coming together with their dislike of how they're racing. That could be how it kind of got a little bit of a group think here, but they didn't think they got the answer and they just left. And Chris and Aleisha, they are starting to panic. So Dolor and Holly show up at the cuckoo clocks, and this is their ride or dies. Their favorite team here, and they're like, "Hey, let's work together, and we can try to get it faster." And Alicia's, it's too hard. Like, it's like so difficult. Like, we shouldn't. And so they leave and they go to do the other side of the detour. What do you think of this as a choice compared to working with Dolor and Holly about finding this?
You've got a team that wants to help you. And I don't know. It felt like such a silly move to move. I thought it was the worst part was that they were talking and Dolor is like right there, and they're saying how much they don't think that Dolor is and Holly are gonna help them. Like, why would you do that? Like, you've got a relationship a little bit. At least you know that they think they have a relationship with you.
And like he's like, well, if we find it, we'll tell you.
Yeah. And like, already know that there's 4 teams. You're complaining there's 4 teams that are working together. There's a team that wants to work with you. Power in numbers. Like, what happens now at a U-turn? Holly and Dolor know, Chris and Aleisha didn't want to work with us.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
They were talking smack about us on the camera. Like,
brutal. It was such a bad move, I thought. And so Chris and Aleisha, they leave to go to the candy making detour. And basically in that one, they had to like learn how to mold some candy, and they make 4 lollipops. And they have to do it in a certain time amount because like the candy's going to actually harden pretty quickly.
Right.
So that's where the challenge of it is, kind of getting the hang of making it in a short amount of time. So they go over and do that. We see it starts raining. I think this is the first time I've noticed like rain on the race. Has it happened really before?
Yeah, there's been bad storms on the race. Yeah.
I feel
I'm
like
trying to think of the most recent one, but I know in the past, like it used to happen quite a bit. There was like bad weather.
just maybe I blocked it out. It's like, oh. But Wayne and Stan are still out in the rain picking that ginger. Poor guys. Like they must have been really, 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 really far behind. And when Chris and Aleisha get to the candy shop, MJ and Chelsea, who chose to do this detour, were still there. And so they had to be working kind of in workstations where the other team can see what you're doing, which I think is, I don't know if I like that.
That wasn't right. No, that wasn't right. They should have been they should have had their own table.
Exactly. And so they're working at the same table. And so MJ and Chelsea could see what Chris and Aleisha were doing, because they figured out a strategy to get these candies working. So they copied them and were able to finish reasonably quickly.
At the same time.
Same time, exactly. And so I was like, I thought that was a poor design on a task.
Agreed.
Yeah. Thumbs down. So yeah, she couldn't hide her work, so they both had to leave basically at the same time. But okay, so the order of people heading over to the pit stop are, so the first team was the Cowboys, and the Cowboys got our favorite thing: first class pass.
Yay!
The first class pass. No one's going home. Another predetermined, like non-elimination leg. We just had one.
Yeah.
Episode. Anyway, second place this time around is Amanda and Ashley. Third is Super Seeks. Fourth is Skye-Blue and Jake. So you're doing pretty well though with that alliance, because I only have Skye-Blue and Jake, and they were in the fourth position. So
yeah.
As of right now, that you are probably going to be winning this draft. It just seems as though you're top, like you have teams that are consistently in the top.
Well, but we don't know who else they're going to bring in.
That's true. Should we be like, when should we start putting those new teams into our drafts?
Oh, jeez. We've been ignoring them, but hoping they go for so long.
No. Fifth place is Lauren Holly, so it was definitely a bad move for Chris and Aleisha to have left, because it didn't seem like it was long after they left that Lauren Holly found it. Yeah. MJ and Chelsea even got to the pit stop before Chris and Aleisha. So Chris and Aleisha are 7th, Wayne and Stan are 8th. But with that damn first class pass, they get to give out the Salvage and the Sabotage. And they give the Sabotage to Chris and Aleisha, and the Salvage to Wayne and Stan, who 2 legs in a row were saved by a non-elimination leg.
That's right. And 100% were hours behind the check-in. They must have been, because the thing was closed. Like their directions getting anywhere, like there's no way they found it on time. Like,
and now they're gonna have a Salvage, so they're probably like they're hoping for GPS.
I'm like, and how awkward is that for Chris and Aleisha? That's the second time that they've been on the mat waiting, and then the team gives it to them, and like that's crazy. Like these people want that team out.
Get out of here.
Wow.
Get out. I'm not a big fan. So was there anything else about that episode that either bothered you or that you want to talk about?
I found it weird that when Holly and Dolor checked in, it was like nighttime, like it was dark. And then when MJ and Chelsea checked in, it was light out.
Could it have been it was just seemed darker because of like the clouds?
The storm. Maybe. Yeah. It might have been the storm. Or maybe they have to record it or something. But
that's true. Yeah, maybe it was too rainy, and so maybe they had to record the pit stop like the next day or
yeah.
I didn't notice it, but I would imagine, yeah, it could definitely have been recorded another time. That's interesting.
Well, we'll see. I don't know. I think Stan and Wayne need all the help they can get, so maybe this works out for them. but we'll see. We'll see. I have a feeling it's going to be a tough. I think the Sabotage is going to be tough this next one, whatever it is. I don't know what it is, but I have this feeling it's going to be tough.
Oh, and she's going to be like, okay, so we do have another survey for us to look at this week.
Look at the survey. Let's get that up. Sorry, let me get it. My surveys. There we go. All right. So, what would you have picked, Brains or Brawn?
Brains.
Nice and easy. Due to the forced pick of the rock rappel, do you think it was fair a team could switch detours?
No!
So we saw a Lady in the Tramp-inspired challenge. What other Disney moment would you like to see be a challenge on the race?
Okay. I'm thinking this would be terrible, but having to do something on the teacups. So there's some rides like that they emulate the teapots of like the dancing teapots in Beauty and the Beast. And so I think making maybe people spot things while they're on those teacups, like going around taking notes or something. Because I like rides, but those teacups do actually make me nauseous. So maybe that. I don't know. That's my first thought.
Love it.
Did you have a thought?
I was like, oh, well, maybe like if they had to climb hair and go up a tower.
I would think more of like finding the pee underneath the mattress, but I don't know if that's the same.
Oh, well, maybe. That'd be great. Were you happy that Stan and Wayne were saved by both non-eliminations?
0% chance I enjoyed that.
Okay.
No.
Do you think the Alliance of 14s will play out strong going forward?
Yes, I do. And this could be why they're injecting some new teams, most likely, because, like, oh my God, imagine Chris and Aleisha leave. Like, MJ and Chelsea, I don't know if are going to be able to get to the front of the pack again. Stan and Wayne are just, like, not great at all. So,
and then it's Holly and Dolor.
I love them. Maybe they'll just stay.
Right? What if it comes down to Holly Dolor versus those four, and Holly and Dolor knock them all out?
Oh my God, that'd be a really, really like. That'd be so good. I don't think so.
Which of the intersection teams that we saw do you feel would be strongest at any challenge?
Cowboys and Amanda and Ashley.
Yeah, I agree with
Except for hearing beer around a pub.
Right. Yeah.
They were misdirect there. Like I was like, oh God, this team is going to be terrible. And then like they're like the second best team.
Which like 13-14 task do you think was the hardest? I'll remind you what we had. We had the face first rappel. We had the Brawn obstacle course, the brain math target puzzle simulator thingy, Bob. The log spaghetti pear eating, the find your partner helicopter rescue, ginger pick, cuckoo clock find, candy making.
I think the obstacle course.
Yeah, I think that would have been the toughest for me as well. Yeah.
Toughest.
God, I don't know. Last.
Slug eating. Ugh.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to add that one because we didn't see it. Yeah, the slug eating, well, I would have been okay, but I think you would have. You seem to not be looking forward to that. So, which team do you feel made the most crucial moves these past two legs? Which team do you think had the most crucial moves? Like, that helped them.
Well, it definitely is going to be Amanda and Ashley, and I think it's for the fact that they've been doing a lot of tasks that fit into their wheelhouse and their knowledge and in their experience, and so they chose to be with the Cowboys, which is a good idea. I also think that it was a good move for her to go back and help Skye because, yes, they're working together, but it shows that a little compassion goes a long way, and Skye-Blue and Jake are ones that will return the favor here. So I think that was a critical, calculated move that I think down the road is going to be useful.
Agreed. Yep, well, there we go.
Oh, and Kristen and Aleisha. I mean, it was a good move for them to park their car while they're waiting for people to go into the car park and run and do the sign-up board. So that was a good move. But it made them more hated by other people. So.
I think that might be part of the reason why. Like maybe people are just fed up with their sneakiness. So.
Yep. And they're not likable. Like if you're sneaky and likable, then you can get away with it. But it's like it seems like keep themselves separate from the group, and so it's kind of like
you'd rather be cheeky than sneaky, in my opinion.
Yeah. Like, guys, you guys suck, and like they're in a laughing way, not like you guys, I don't like you. Like you want it to be like, I suck, I love you, you know. So that's pretty much it for this episode. Good times, good talks. I wonder if next week will be 2 more non-elimination legs.
Oh my God! Can you imagine? Oh, we're going to 9. We're going back up now.
Actually, I feel like I think we're due for another 2 racers. Another racer.
That's right.
I do feel like we're due for one.
And what will it be? It will be like superpower robots or something.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've seen slight clips of the like later episodes, and I don't feel like I recognized anybody.
Oh no.
So we're kind of like, I don't know, just past the halfway point. I think is it over or is it still uploading episodes?
I think it's over. I think I saw 24 or 25 episodes.
Okay, so we're past the halfway point. We only have 11 or 12 episodes to go.
Only 3 more years.
What do you think? Should we do 3 episodes? Is that too much? What do you think?
Oh my God. I don't know.
Whatever you decide. I'm just like, I'm enjoying it no matter what. But the fact that like 4 weeks, I was like, whoo.
We're getting there, and then once we're done, there'll be like so much more to talk about of other shows because.
What else is coming down? What should we be looking towards? Me and you doing? Like, I know that we're considering doing, or most likely doing, some Big Brother games, and so that'll be weekly. But is there something else that you'd want to talk about show wise?
Oh, I mean, Big Brother will be coming up this summer, right?
For sure.
I think they are doing it, and then I'm trying to think. Drag Race is going to be doing some stuff, I'm sure. Not this season, and it's almost over now. But
finally, we got another never-ending season. Race UK, like that one was.
Oh, perfect. But All Stars is coming up, I think, for RuPaul. There'll be one.
Oh, I want to see International All Stars. Is that what you're talking about?
There's that as well. Yeah, there's All Stars 6, and then there will be the World Drag Race one.
Okay, so I guess I need to do some homework and watch like Drag Race Thailand season 1 of the UK. Is there any other ones that I need to? It'll be necessary for me to.
There's another one. I think there was somewhere down. I forget where it was. It's South America somewhere. I think there's a contestant from there. I think, and Australia's starting or has started on Drag Race Australia.
Oh, is that the first time? I don't know if I've heard of that before.
Yeah. Well, and RuPaul's hosting.
Okay. I'm into it. I want to see if they can be as good as the Brits. I doubt it.
Yeah. Who knows? They got some funny slangs, so who knows? They can make it work.
Tricky Chook. Well, that's all we have for you guys. Phil, what are you working on? I know the usual, but you can just let our peoples know what's happening with you.
Definitely check out Good Time Games with Adam and Phil on Facebook. Feel free to write us if you want to put on a games night with your friends. Or we are doing an online elimination strategy game. It's like an org, but in one night. Winner wins cash. This month's theme is an Oscars theme, and it's called Tagged. So you can find out more information again at Good Time Games with Adam and Phil. Definitely feel free to sign up for it. It'd be great to see some new players.
Well, that's amazing. Well, thank you as always, Phil. And for everybody that's watching, please do us a favor, subscribe. And if you didn't know this already, that if you send me a screenshot, so you can send it to realityrealness with 3s's@gmail.com, or there's another email that's affiliated with this YouTube channel, then I will put you in a draw to win a $100 gift card to Amazon. And if you're in Canada and you don't want an Amazon gift card, I will send you an e-transfer. So let's just make this happen. So once we get to 1,000 subscribers, I will be doing that draw and giving away some money. Giving you the money.
Love it.
So let's make it happen as soon as possible. Or we have like less than 250 to go. So easy peasy. Easy.
That's great.
Yay.
Come on, let's hit that 1,000.
Yeah. Ciao.